Hi everyone, welcome to Book Crush. This is Marshawn. I'm here to give you another book review. Today's book is The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl by Issa. And I really like this book for so many reasons. It was funny, witty, it was contemporary. Issa Rae is known for her web series of the same name, Awkward Black Girl. I got some recognition from some pretty big celebrities like Pharrell Williams. A lot of opportunities start to open up for her because of that web series. And then she has this book, and now she has Insecure on HBO. So I would actually recommend everyone watching it. This book is actually a memoir, and it just really tells the story of her life growing up in Senegal and then moving to Los Angeles, California, and in her words, being just this awkward black girl, you know, in so many ways. And honestly, when I was reading the book, I didn't really find her to be like your typical idea of an awkward person, period. So she wasn't like super socially awkward or didn't have any boyfriends or didn't know how to speak to people or was super nerdy. None of those things really. She actually kind of worked her way into the popular crowd in high school and was able to navigate her way in that realm of high school, but in a way that was really, really funny and so embarrassing in a lot of ways. So I totally understand her from that point. Another way that I guess she was awkward, or just what set her apart, was the fact that she was born and raised in like Senegal, right? So she grew up in learning French, and then also she describes her family as the Huxtables. So she says, my family is like the Huxtables. Her dad was a doctor. I think her mother was a teacher, a professor. In Senegal, they were living pretty well. They had like a mansion, they had maids, things. But then something happened with her father's business. I guess he wasn't able to like build the hospital that he was trying to build at that time. And they all decided to move to America, to Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, I think in the first half of her life, she was at, I'm not sure if it was a private school or a predominantly white school. But then later on, it must have been in junior high or high school, she moved to another school, which was predominantly black. And just because of her experience, it kind of set her apart, speaking French and having a African family, and then trying to kind of fit into the now American life. It was something about it that really did set her apart. But I think that she did pretty well, because she describes, you know, having her two best friends in high school were the most pretty girls in school. So they were popular and beautiful. One of them became prom queen. The other one actually later on in life was like a third finalist on America's Next Top Model. So I don't know, she kind of had that crowd, but at the same time, like, she didn't know how to dance, and she was invited to house parties, and so she would be put into awkward situations where, you know, being a black person, not knowing how to dance. There was a scene where she practiced some dance moves at home, like, I guess, like, in the mirror or something like that. And then, so she wanted to pull out those dance moves when she, at the house party, right? She got to the house party, and, you know, they were kind of egging her on, I guess, and she just, like, did this wild type of move, got on the floor. It was like some sexy pelvic thrusting moves and stuff. Anyway, so it became like all the buzz at the high school the next day or whatever. So I don't know. It's one of those type of situations. It's maybe embarrassing or a little bit awkward, but she's not so socially awkward that she didn't actually have a boyfriend. Like later on, she describes having relationships and things like that. Although there was this really interesting part where she says, like, and I don't know how like politically correct this is to say, but she says like Asian men and black women are like on the lowest on the totem pole of the, like being desired, and so they should like really hook up and like really start to come together, because I don't know, it's just like, I don't know. Anyways, I thought that was kind of funny. I get what she's talking about, actually. There's these studies out there on like Match.com and all these dating websites and dating apps. And statistically, they've drawn together these statistics that show that black women and Asian men are the least desirable on these sites and stuff like that. Some people think those statistics are skewed, whatever. I just think that was really interesting for her to kind of say something like that. It was really funny. She does get pretty personal about her life, and for that, I like the transparency. You know, she's honest. She says, you know, she had this little issue with weight for a little while. No, she wasn't super overweight or obese or anything like that, but she had put on some pounds, and she tried to be a vegetarian or was a vegan for like so many years, and then just like gave that up. And coming from a family where they do eat meat, that kind of stuff. So I thought it was really funny. Oh yeah, speaking of things that were personal, she does describe her parents' separation or the reason for their separation. She kind of did allowed herself to allowed it to reveal itself to her, but much later on in life. It's like the only thing that was said to her was, your father and I have differences in cultures and beliefs, and for that, basically kind of like for that reason we can't be together. But later on she finds out that it was because her dad was unfaithful in the marriage. And as far as being like a representative of Black women, or I don't know, I just feel like she didn't have to try to make her story sound like she's so different from your average Black girl. That honestly, it was her story, so it came out as authentically and real as it could have ever been, right? So it's not even like she's trying to make sure that she puts out a book that just breaks down all those stereotypes that you have about Black women. See, a Black woman can be awkward and Black. It's just not even like that. It's more like, this is my story, this is who I am, these are the things I like. She has this little connection with another girl at her high school, and they both bond over ratchet rap music. Was it high school or college? I can't remember, but they bond over that. And it was really funny. She's not trying to like purposefully break down like stereotypes. She's really just showing you herself, and that I appreciate it, because it just shows you, it is another type of representation, another representation of a Black female that's real and authentic. She grew up in Los Angeles. She went to a school in Compton, but her background, her heritage is from Senegal. It's like, you can't make this up. She didn't make this up. This is her life. So I really appreciate that. And she goes on to talk about, when you're a kid, you start to realize how people perceive you based on really their interaction with you. And that's kind of what happened when she was in like high school. She noticed that the boys would gravitate and show a lot more affection and desire and pursuit for the girls that, how she described it, as having lighter skin, or that type of texture of hair that's silky or baby hair, whatever, all that stuff that we all know about that happens in the Black community. And it's so very real. And you realize what category you fall into, right? Although she kind of made her way into the popular crowd, she could see the type of girls that the guys kept going to. Like, there's a pattern here. They like the light skin. They like that affected her in such a way where you are now aware of what's considered beautiful and what's not. And I know later on, when she had the boyfriend and did the big chop and cut her hair, and just like, I'm accepting myself who I am. It's a kind of like an epiphany or revelation of embracing yourself that I feel like most Black women have experienced, and they go through and they understand, that this happens, that in society there is there's a beauty universally recognized and gravitated to and set on a pedestal, and then there's there's, if you don't fall into that category, so I just appreciated that. I really enjoyed the book. Awkward Black girl. I wouldn't say she was super awkward, or like I said, no dorky glasses or anything like that, but just embarrassing moments, funny stuff that you enjoy reading about. It's really good. So I would actually recommend this book, The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl. And you don't have to be Black to read it, right? We read stories about people and we relate to them or not, or we sympathize or we understand, and we like to read those stories because it's a story and it's a good one. And once again, this book may not be for everyone, but give it a try. And that's it. So talk to you later. Bye.